Well, hello. In this video, we are going to talk about how possibly the famous or infamous Shamir of Solomon built the walls. The Shamir was a worm. How would a worm build walls? And I think I've got a possible mechanism for this. And it's following on from the previous video in which we introduced the idea that the nubs, rather than for lifting a rock, they might be for that as well, are actually extruded cement which has been injected into the stones, into the Inca stonework, and they are held together by a type of cement which can resemble a rock from the inside. This was a culture that seems to have eschewed the idea of visible cement. They wanted their cement to be visible only on the inside unless it was extruded through a nub. And we're going to postulate that what happened was holes were drilled after the rock was laid in order to lay additional cement to make sure everything was sealed up very nicely. And I see on Twitter, the Megalithic Marvels page on Twitter, they are posting pictures of the drill holes at Coricanca. It's almost an Indian Aryan word. It sounds like an Indian word, Goriganga. It's very interesting. It's a bit Australoid as well. And there are drill holes, and there are rocks which are exactly the same as the rocks drawn by Piranesi, Giovanni Battista Piranesi, as being underneath ancient Rome. So we see a worldwide culture at work as well. So, examining this picture here of Coricanca, we see something quite fascinating. This is said to be an interlocking temple, but the thing is, you don't really see the male parts so much. You see the female parts. The cement, or whatever it was, is gone. So you see a bunch of holes everywhere. And where you see the holes drilled are where the nubs would be. And this kind of backs up what I was saying in the previous video, that there are drill holes at work, which were then filled up with a kind of cement. And imagine a scenario where an expanding cement, a bit like elephant's toothpaste, is crawling through the holes, crawling through the gaps, sealing all the stones together from the inside. I believe that is what we're looking at here. You won't find interlocking components. Because those components don't exist. What you will find, I believe, is that there was cement there at one time to hold it all together. And we're seeing that quite clearly. At Coricanca, we can see, because it's such a perfect structure, because it's so well preserved and it's done so carefully, we see, I believe, the same technique at work, and we see the same technique in the Mediterranean. The rocks cut exactly the same way underneath ancient Rome, which shows us that possibly the people who built these structures in Peru, in Bolivia, also built ancient Rome. This was a race from Europe. Since they came through Turkey, these were the Trojans who lived before Rome, who founded Rome. They used the technique in 1000 BC. They used the technique possibly in 1000 BC also in America. Brian Forster, a great scientist, discovered what Erich von Däniken had long suspected, that the long skull people are a genetic type, a genetic race. This explains the witches' hats we see in Europe, the helmet, the strange hats that the Phrygians wore, which meant liberty. And from Troy, all these people escaped. They escaped the invading Greeks to have liberty. We see in Piranesi's picture also where we see rock that has poked through, possibly molten rock poured in from the top, extruding through the side to join rocks together, a kind of toothpaste way of joining rocks together, and then they were all smoothed out. Well, that's the theory. Is this what was meant by the Shamir of Solomon, the worm building the stones? The worms of Medusa turning things into stone? What do you think? I quite like this theory. I've got the support of some colleagues who think it's got potential. I won't say they support it fully, but they think it's got potential. My colleague Ancient History Criticisms, who has spent so much time studying the nubs, he likes the idea, and he suggests a type of welding over the surface as well, and that might make it actually look like stone, because Brian Forster has pointed out the nubs basically are stone. I think they're extruded material, but they've somehow been turned into stone. Okay, there we go. Thank you.